Let your body settle now. Your shoulders, they may have been holding something since this morning, some effort you carried through the day without noticing. Let them drop. Just allow them to fall a little lower. Your hands, notice where they are resting. The slight weight of your fingers. You are not holding anything right now. Let your palms go soft. Your jaw, there is a good chance it is tighter than you know. Let it open slightly, just enough that the back teeth no longer touch. Your feet, feel them where they meet the mattress where the blanket covers them. Still, heavy. The blanket over you. Its weight presses gently down. The warmth beneath it is yours. There is nothing you need to solve right now. Nothing to plan, nothing to remember. Whatever is unfinished today can wait until morning. And as you breathe, something quieter takes the place of what was there. You are in Venice. The year is 1750. A city built on water, threaded by canals, resting on a lagoon at the edge of the Adriatic. The stone is pale and old. The water is dark. You have lived here all your life. Tonight you will simply rest here. The squirrow closes as the light goes. You have been here since dawn, the Squirro di San Travaso, tucked between two narrow canals in the Dorseguro Sestiere, a low wooden building with an open, sloped yard running down to the water. The yard is the cantiere, the building ground. It slopes gently toward the canal so that a gondola can be eased up onto the timbers and worked on from below. Pine beams, an open roof on 3 sides, the smell of sawdust and pitch, and the particular damp of wood that has been in and out of water for a long time. The other gondolieri have left. You are the last one in the yard. The master builder, the Marangona, has gone inside. The tools are put away. The adzes, the planes, the long curved saws that shape the ribs. A gondola hull sits tilted on the timbers, its underside dark with caulking pitch still tacky. Tomorrow the planks will be faired and the first black paint laid down. The canal alongside the Squirro is still. A heron stands on the opposite bank, unmoving. The evening bell of a distant church crosses the water and dissolves. You close the gate. The wood is old and the hinges have learned patience. A gondola is not a simple thing. You have watched them built since childhood, long planks bent to shape over steam, ribs fitted one by one, the hull formed from 8 different woods chosen for what each knows how to do. Oak for the frame, dense, slow to rot. Fir for the planking, light, flexible. Cherry and elm and walnut and larch and lime, each to its part. The result is not a single material but an argument between materials, each contributing its nature to the whole. And the hull is not symmetrical. The left side is built slightly wider than the right, a subtle difference, hidden in the curves but present. A gondola is propelled from the right side by a single oar, and this asymmetry in the hull corrects the natural drift that would otherwise pull the bow. Without it, you would fight the water on every stroke. With it, the boat moves straight without effort. The builder knows this. The water knows this. When finished, the hull is painted black. This has been the law in Venice since 1562, sumptuary law, passed to stop the nobility from competing in elaborate decoration. All gondolas black. The law has held nearly 200 years. Black on dark water. The gondola does not hide. It belongs. The forcola is a carved thing. It sits in the right gunwale of the gondola, a bracket of walnut wood, shaped by hand into a form that is neither simple nor explained easily. Thick at the base, it rises and branches into a series of curved notches, each one a different position for the oar, each position giving a different mechanical advantage, a different direction of force. Push here and the bow swings left. Push there and the boat slows. The same oar, the same gesture, differently placed, does different work. The remo, the oar, is beech wood, smooth from use, close to 4 meters long. You have had this one for 3 years. The grip end is worn to the exact shape of your hand. The blade is slightly cupped from the thousands of times it has turned in the water on the recovery stroke. Voga alla Veneta, the Venetian row, standing, facing forward, reading the canal ahead. The stroke is a sweep and a twist, the blade entering flat, rotating as it pulls, exiting with a turn that keeps the boat true. It looks unhurried from the bank. From where you stand, it is everything. At night, the canals change. During the day, they carry noise, the knock of boats against stone, the calls of traders, the slap of wake against the foundation walls of the palazzi. At night, the sound narrows. What remains is the water itself, the steady, low conversation of the lagoon, the slow movement of tidal water through the narrower calle, the quiet drip from an oar lifted clear of the surface. The tide runs through Venice twice each day, rising and falling with the Adriatic. You feel it in the way the gondola sits higher or lower against the fondamenta steps, in the current that assists or resists at certain turns, in the smell of the water, salt and seaweed, and the cold mineral smell of the open lagoon, stronger when the tide is ebbing. The palazzi walls rise on either side of the narrower canals, their lower stones green with algae, the iron mooring rings dark with age. The water reflects what little light there is, a lantern on a bridge, the stars above a wider stretch of canal, the pale bulk of a church facade across the basin. You move through this the way you have always moved through it, without hurrying, without noise. You hear him before you see him. Premando, the call carrying around the blind corner of the Rio, the single word a signal. I am coming through, hold your line. You answer without thinking, a short call that means I hear you. It is not a language exactly. It is older than language, the system of calls the barcarali have used for generations to navigate a city where 2 boats meeting at a corner cannot see each other until they are nearly touching. The other gondola appears, a dark shape with a lantern at the prow, the gondoliero giving you a nod as he passes. You know his face. You know his boat. In a city of 150 canals and several hundred barcaroli, you have learned them all the way you learn neighbors. By proximity, by the accumulated weight of passing mornings. Stagando, I am breaking, called by someone further along. Invisible sound traveling on the water with perfect clarity in the still night air. The canals carry voices. They always have. A conversation begun at one fondamenta can be heard at another 2 bridges away. The calls fade. The canal is quiet again. Your oar enters the water without sound. The bells of San Marco find the water first. The Campanile stands at the edge of the piazza, the tallest thing on the lagoon. When the bells speak, the sound does not travel through the city the way sound travels through streets. It travels over the water. It crosses the basin, arrives at the far shore, returns. For a moment there are 2 sounds, the bell itself and its own echo arriving late across the Canale della Giudecca. You have heard these bells your entire life, and they have still not become ordinary. The lowest one, the Marangona, rings the beginning and end of the working day. It is named for the carpenters, Marangoni. Your word for a shipbuilder is the same. The bell that calls the city to work is also the word for the men who built the thing the city depends on. At this hour, smaller bells. A parish church somewhere in the Canergio, a duller tone, crossing the northern canals. Then another from the Giudecca, lower and further. They do not agree on the time. They never entirely agree. Venice has never had a single clock. It has had many slightly arguing. The water carries all of it. The sound settles and spreads and goes quiet. Beyond the city is the lagoon. You have rowed it at night, crossing from the Fondament Nove toward the islands, San Michele, Murano, the open water beyond. The city disappears behind you until what remains is black water in every direction, and above it the stars of a sky unobscured by torchlight. The water is shallow here, cut through by dredged channels marked with brick-hole wooden poles driven into the bottom at intervals. Miss the channel in the dark and the gondola grounds on the mud. You have done it once. The moon governs the lagoon. When it is full, the tidal range is higher, the water rising further into the Cali, the streets becoming canals, the lowest doorsteps submerged. When the moon is thin, the lagoon is calmer, the water cooler, the smell of salt and eelgrass and tidal mud more present. The fishermen read the moon the way you read the canals. Tonight the tide is going out. You can feel it in the slight pull on the hull where the canal meets the broader water. A slow insistence, nothing dramatic, just the lagoon reclaiming what the day sent in. The Adriatic breathes, and Venice breathes with it. The Fells is fitted to the gondola for winter. It is a small removable cabin, built just aft of center, a low wooden frame fitted with panels, a roof high enough to sit under but not to stand. Inside, the lining is black velvet, worn in places from use, the nap catching the lantern light and holding it. The passengers who hire you for evening transit sit in there, warm, private, invisible to the city passing outside. You carry a small oil lantern on the prow, required by ordinance, so other boats can see you coming. The flame moves with the boat, steadying when the water steadies, flickering briefly when you pass under a bridge and the air eddies. The light falls on the water just ahead and illuminates nothing beyond its own small circle. Inside the fells, a passenger's lantern rocks with the gondola. The light through the velvet panels makes the small cabin warm in color even when the air outside is cold, amber, soft, shifting with each stroke of the oar. You can hear them sometimes through the panels. A murmured conversation, or nothing, just the sound of someone else breathing slowly in a warm and moving dark. You row. The city slides past on either side. The lantern holds. The night has deepened. The gondola is moored at the fondamenta. You have tied it with the knot your father taught you, the one that holds without jamming, that you can undo with one hand in the dark. The hull rests against the stone, rising and falling with the tidal breathing of the canal. The lantern at the prow has been put out. The city is quieter now. Not silent, Venice is never entirely silent, but quieter. The calls of the barcaroli have faded. The bells are at rest between their hours. The stars are visible above the open campo, where no buildings interrupt the sky. There is nothing you need to solve right now. The gondola is moored. The canals will be where you left them in the morning. There is nothing you need to solve right now. Nothing to plan. The tide is going out and the water knows what it is doing. What remains is this: the smell of salt water and pine pitch. The slow sound of the canal against the hull, patient, like something with no reason to hurry. The stars reflected in the dark water below, broken and reformed with each ripple. Venice floats. It has always floated. Tonight it continues without any help from you.